What's something men do that comes across as creepy?
Before we continue with the video, please hit a subscribe, likes, and comments to make sure you don't miss our next video.
Number 20. Plenty of things. Catcalling, patronizing, weird looks, call you names like "yes baby, what do you need," from a stranger on a store, take pictures or videos of you on public transport, stalk you online, attempt to touch you without consent on parties when it's dark. OMG, I could go on forever. And I didn't even get to rape and grooming.
Number 19. Trying to give me massages at work. Especially when we have a 45-year age gap. In the same vein, having a middle-aged men talk to you for no reason. They're struggling to come up with topics because you're a teenage girl and obviously have nothing in common. So they talk about their daughters who are older than you but are obviously flirting. Different men, by the way.
Number 18. I am a guy and I deliver food, but I have a girl's name. Guys are always waiting outside even though it's a contactless delivery and says to leave at door, and sometimes they call me before I get there and try to hit on me, but you're very disappointed and confused when it's a guy. One guy harassed me one time and I kept $70 of his food and ate it myself.
Number 17. Spending casual time with them and then them immediately thinking you're flirting with them. Not accepting no for an answer and then proceeding to stalk afterwards, not knowing what they did wrong. Happens several times, stays creepy and makes me very uncomfortable.
Number 16. Touch my back or waist unprompted. I've had situations where I'm taking a photo with a stranger, events, tourism, etc., and this guy I've never met before touches the small of my back, or loops around to my hip/waist. No thank you. You can touch my shoulder or arm if you're chill about it, but the waist/small of the back is sensitive and not for casual touch. Hands off, buddy. Also, this is less creepy than it is intimidating, but guys who talk too loud or energetically in non-loud situations. Basically, guys who raise their voice or give off car salesman energy in conversation or at a not loud party. It sets off that inner alarm of, is this guy going to escalate, even though logically it's probably going to be safe. It's like having a headache, not annoying enough to go to the doctor, but painful enough that it makes you tired and stressed out.
Number 15. Let's see, recently a dude asked me for directions. It was already late? I told him, I don't know, then walked away. He almost followed me home. I had to stop at a store. He was quiet too. I went to grab water. The minute I turned around, he was behind me.
Number 14. As my wife doesn't WFH, she has to be out in the world a lot more. I'll paraphrase what she said recently. What the hell's with male Uber drivers and you go into your boyfriend's house? It's such an obvious way to open up whether I might be DTF. Same goes with when she opens the door for DoorDash. She says there's always fishy types of small talk that weird her out, usually around her schedule and whether they've seen her at, insert shop here. She doesn't like when some strange dude wants to time/place her. Questions like, "Hey, how's your day?" are all well and good. Friendly. But the personal stuff's gotta go. As such, I've stopped shushing the dog when she barks at Dashers. I want them to know there's a dog that only needs the word go right behind this pretty little lady who tipped you well, sir.
Number 13. Touching my lower back when they walk past me. Strangers do this if I'm in a crowded area and it's weird. I don't see guys doing this to other guys. When they sit right next to you despite having more than plenty of options. Once I was sitting on a bench at my uni and some guy sat directly next to me. Like shoulders touching and starting very quietly while eating a sandwich. Then he started asking where I lived, and when I kept trying to divert it, he kept pushing, so I made up a phone call and ran away.
Number 12. Men looking at women and licking their lips. Jesus effing Christ. Creepy, sleazy creeps. Edit to add. There's a difference between just licking your lips and the sleazy, creepy way some men do it.
Number 11. I, 31 years old, female, was walking up the stairs at a train station carrying a large suitcase the other day. A guy wanted to help and just took my suitcase from me without asking. I had to tell him 3 times I was okay and didn't need his help. The suitcase wasn't particularly heavy, just big. Don't just grab other people's stuff without asking. I know he just wanted to help, but still.
Number 10. Continue trying to get your attention when you are not engaging with them. Reply.
This one day at my new job as a med lab scientist, I'm sitting at the microscope, minding my own business, analyzing patient blood smears. All of a sudden I hear from behind me, from across the lab, "Hey, you redhead, hi hello, red there lady, hi." It was not only rude to shout at me if I knew him, but I had no reason to ever interact with this man. He worked in a different lab but had to come into my lab to grab his samples from the central processing area. I was majority creeped out. After I ignored his shouting, he never came up to me, never introduced himself to me, never asked my name. But when we occasionally crossed paths in the hallway, he would always make eyes at me and go out of his way to be obnoxiously friendly, even after I continually ignored him. He was a very creepy old man, and none of the younger women I worked with liked him as they all had similar experiences.
Number 9. Not backing off when a woman indicates in any way whatsoever, verbally or physically, she isn't interested, yet they continue or think they can continue to harass you or change your mind.
Number 8. I have a coworker. I had never met him, officially, before we started working at the same place 2 years ago. He gave me a weird vibe from the get-go, but I just avoided him as much as I could, which was easy cause we don't have the same job at our facility. After a while, he starts talking about 2 brothers that I do know, and how he was friends with one of them. Okay, fine, a little creepy, you know, I knew them too. Then he asked when I moved from X address where I lived with my ex. I shut that down and straight out said that was a creepy comment that made me uncomfortable. I now avoid him even more at work, but a few months pass and he starts asking how long I lived at Y address, and that it was then I was hanging out with a specific group of people. I told him how the F he knew about 2 past addresses and whom my friends were, since I never met him before. Oh, he and that one brother sometimes talk about me. I have not spoken to either of those 2 brothers for 5 years. That is creepy as hell.
Number 7. Lingering/being flirtatious when a woman is at her job. She's smiling because she has to, she's talking to you because she has to. Yeah, maybe she's into you, but the fact there's no way to really know since she's basically forced to interact with you, it comes off creepy.
Number 6. Tell you their life story. I had one guy in a liquor store recently who decided to tell me what each of his tattoos meant. When he got to his kids, he told me their life stories. I finally saw my excuse to get away and he grabbed my hand and kissed it. I saw him recently and I said hello but just walked in. I heard him calling me a bitch. I try so hard to be nice, but kissing my hand, I can't take it.
Number 5. Here's a list of creepy men have done in the last year to me, following me around the neighborhood. This has happened several times. Sometimes they will stop and talk to me, which leads to the next 2 points. Cornering me at my car to talk and not letting me leave. Demanding sex from me. Inappropriate comments in general. Staring for too long. Touching in any capacity unless we are close is bona fide creep behavior. Showing up at my work to talk, men just be out here creeping on women. It's not all men, but men tend to excuse it when their friend, brother, cousin, etc. out there creeping on women. Number 4. Me, I'm married. Shows ring. Random guy, I don't believe you. They all say that. Then it just gets creepy because no matter what you say they just don't believe anything and keep pressing you to leave with them. That hyper-aggressiveness is creepy.
Number 3. When I was around 20 or 21, I was working as a barista. We had floor-to-ceiling windows on one side of our cafe in a busy area. Some guy, maybe mid-30s, was walking by outside and it looked like he was coming into our store. We locked eyes, so I offered a half-hearted customer service smile as one does. He turned the corner to the front of our store, blocked partially by a brick wall, no windows, but never came inside. I didn't think much of it and just continued on with my day. About 3 to 4 hours later, my shift was over. I walked outside to the parking lot and I heard a finally. "You're off work." I turned around, expecting to see a coworker or maybe a regular customer I was friends with or something. Nope. It was the guy I locked eyes with for 0.5 seconds several hours earlier. He was sitting at a table on our patio but was blocked by the brick wall, so I couldn't see him through the windows from inside the store. I was really startled and didn't know what to say. He then proceeded to tell me that he saw me smile at him through the window, so decided to wait outside of my work for several hours so he could talk to me. I mean, it would be one thing to come into the store, buy a coffee, and try to talk to me, although I still wouldn't appreciate that while at work, but this man waited outside of my work for several hours. I was so creeped out and made an excuse like, "Oh, actually, I'm just adjusting the umbrellas on the patio. I still have work." And then I went straight back inside and to the back where I waited for a full hour until my coworkers confirmed he was gone. I was so scared and had male coworkers walk me to my car for like a week.
Number 2. Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest. I'm very insecure about being creepy. I don't really have a great grasp of social situations because I'm autistic and I don't interact with people I don't know very often, and I don't know how other people are going to perceive the things I say. But these comments make me feel a lot better because it wouldn't occur to me to do any of these things, and I feel visceral disgust towards most of them, which actually makes me think maybe I do actually intuitively know how not to be creepy and I just completely lack self-confidence.
Number 1. When I was 19, I was a phone girl at a local pizza place. I would answer the phone and take people's orders for carry-out or delivery. One time this guy called and said he was placing an order for delivery. By the end of the order he changed his mind and said he wanted to order carry-out. The dude shows up and my coworker helps him and he says, "You're not the girl I talked to on the phone. I want to talk to that girl." I realize he's talking about me and I ask what's wrong. He then tells me he thinks I have a really soothing voice and should do ASMR. I was like, okay, that's weird but relatively harmless. The guy gets his food then leaves. We can see him sitting in his car for like 15 minutes. Then he came back in the store with a map and started asking me a bunch of weird questions for directions to somewhere. I said, "Why can't you just use Google Maps? I see you have an iPhone," and pointed to his phone. Then as I point I see him try to hide the screen. He had the audio recorder pulled up. This weirdo came back in the store with a thinly veiled excuse of asking for directions because he was trying to record my voice. It was so creepy. I told him, "Wait 1 second," and went to the back and told some coworkers what was going on. A friend of mine who worked in the kitchen, a 6 feet 2 inches musclehead, walked out and was like, "I'm great with directions. My girlfriend is terrible at them," while gesturing to me. "Let me help you." Suddenly the guy didn't need directions anymore. So yeah. I'm going to say whatever that was creepy.
Thank you for watching. If you like to watch more of these videos, please leave a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to share to your friends and family. I'll see you in the next video.